All right, how you doing?
I'm good. I have a radio show, Solar Radio in London.
Oh, you do?
Uh-huh.
So what kind of music you play?
Huh?
What genre? What type of music?
Smooth jazz. But I kind of I like to mix it up with smooth jazz, high energetic, and fusion.
Yeah, I do kind of like that. I do R&B and kind of indie and uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
so
like your stuff. You have really, really, really been helpful to everybody in the business, everybody, especially in smooth jazz, because we needed that love. It's like, why are we only dependent on just a handful of chart makers? Why can't you make a chart? Why can't you make a chart? Why do we have to just go with these handful of people's opinion about what the music is? And so we love seeing your list come up, what you're playing, who's coming up next, who's number 3 on the list, who's number 20, who didn't make the list, am I on it this week, so I'm telling you, we're all checking, and
yeah, but
it's a
when I
good feeling.
number and so even when I numbered those, someone was asking me, I said, well, no, I just number them. I said I don't, put like categories. I like all the music.
Yeah, because it's all good music. Everybody's got good stuff.
Yeah.
But I think in smooth jazz, we kind of we don't recognize our own, and we just don't give tell everybody, hey, take a listen to so and so over here, because this is really good. The hip hop people, they bring along their whole posse, and they worship each other, and then you got the other the bunch that say, the movie people, the film industry, they support each other and go to each other's premieres and stuff. But with smooth jazz, we have no award shows. We have nothing where we take time to give kudos to each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And recognize each other's music. And it's only when we see each other at the festivals that we say, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. Yeah, you doing good." Like Gerald Albert. I was playing his song off his new record, "Crazy,"
Uh-huh.
and I hit him up. Hey, I'm playing your tune, man. That's so hot. And he was like, "Yay, thank you." Blah blah blah. He don't even know who's playing his music. So when you publish your list, you let people know that you're listening. I see what you're doing. I'm playing it.
Okay. Well, make sure you say that when we do the interview, so Mr. Walker
Are we
can
not
hear it.
doing yet?
So Mr. Walker can hear this.
I'm ready to go, huh? Did you like the flyer I made for you?
Yes, you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank
How
you.
do you do that? I don't even I
Oh,
don't
Mr.
well, I know
Walker.
you can make a virtual background, but when I make it, it's all
Yeah.
fuzzy.
Yeah. Well, make sure. Well, I don't know. Make sure your image is clear and everything. But I went to Mr. Walker told me how to do it. I went to where the video where it said stop video, and then you had that little arrow, and then when you go to
Yeah,
that
I know
arrow,
where I can put
and
when
then
I
you had
put
to
it up,
download
it
it,
looks
and then when you download it,
yeah.
your
Hmm.
image that you want.
Yeah, I have the image, but
You say it comes out kind of blurry.
yeah, well my background just kind of keeps moving. It just
Oh, it does. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it makes like it's in, it's out, like I'm in outer space somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, you might get some
Hmm.
comments on that one.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay. All right, Ricky, I'm gonna have to put my glasses on so I can see.
Nah, I got my glasses on. Man, I got some notes here. I gotta have my glasses on.
Man, we come to rehearsal like with cats we haven't met up with in a while, and everybody's got glasses on. It's like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
this is the trip. Yeah, I don't see it. That's okay. It's okay. I don't need to see me up there again.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna go over a little bit. I'm gonna introduce you, pianist, vocalist, music director, composer, educator, and also known as the First Lady of Smooth Jazz. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe we talk about some of your first gigs. I see you were at Morris Day, and you moved to California from Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you? I thought on
Yeah.
one of your CDs I saw you put your keyboard in your car or something, and you headed on out
I
to
sh- I had a remote keyboard.
Beverly Hills like the Beverly Hillbillies. Now,
Ah,
Carl Rowland,
well, see,
guitar
that's
player,
how.
he was from here, and he said he had $100. Him and Jesse Powell, the singer Jesse Powell, they went
Yeah.
out to California with his guitar. He
Yeah.
said, "I'll never do that again." But he said he had $100, jumped in the car on his guitar, him and Jesse Powell, and they went on. One of his other buddies, he said he stayed here. I said, "Yeah, yeah, that's like that song that Lori Williams got, Test the Waters." He was letting y'all test the waters before he come out, see how y'all were gonna do. So
Yeah.
then we're gonna ask you about when you got started in music and your interest into smooth jazz. Uh, we're gonna talk about you. You started out now when Jazz and Pink started, but you started out kind of solo, right? And then you were producing for Norman Brown too, producing and playing for Norman Brown.
Yeah, I was music directing for Norman
Yeah.
Brown.
Okay. And then we'll find out when went to the world renowned all female all star based
Mm.
uh,
I got
group Jazz
Karen
and Pink.
Briggs. Karen, I'm
And
on an interview right now, and I'm KUAW in Kansas City. Say hi to Ricky Colston.
hello, hello.
Hey, Ricky.
Who is that?
That's Karen Briggs.
Oh, Karen, how you doing? I just played your song, the second one. What was it?
You did?
Which one?
Yeah, I just played it
Gratitude.
last night. Haven't sent it out yet. It's not the last one you did.
Let's see. Dolce de Leche. Shoot. The last one I did was for the
Grateful or
holidays.
Gratitude or something.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice, huh?
That's hard to know. Well,
And I play Jazz and Pink this week, sometime Wednesday or somewhere like that.
Well, I was telling him, Karen, how he's been supporting everybody because he makes lists and he lets everybody know, what he's playing, and he recognizes everybody when they come out with new music, and he goes and finds it and he buys it and supports us. So we sure appreciate him. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a beautiful thing. All right. Well,
Okay.
I'll let you get back here. And if you just call me back when you get a minute.
All right.
Because I got a message from Michael, and it got to me after. I didn't see it till after the fact. So just trying to get a briefing on what took place.
Okay. All right, sweetie. I'll call you back.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and then we're also going to talk about Karen, that's who you first started out. Althea, wasn't it? Karen and Althea?
Karen and Althea. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then that's your core members. And how long the Jazz and Pink been performing? Some of the artists you have in your group with such unique instruments that you might not hear, because I know a lot of DJs were playing jazz music with violins.
Mm-hmm.
And Karen was one of the first ones that I started, listening to and spinning it, played violins. And I notice now, oh yes, they're violin and flutes also. Althea and a couple of other Kim and Reagan.
Yeah, we were talking, since Bobby
So now
Humphrey.
Najee, I mean a lot of the sax players are showing their flute talents on their CDs. And we're gonna talk about your new CD and about your record label. You got a new website. And I don't know if you can kind of explain, how some people, I want to get on the label, but do they really know the obligations or some of the things that go along with signing with a label, and how different that is from being on your own or something like that?
Yes.
And talk about your CDs. Family members in your band. I know you have somebody that's a family member that's in your daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And some of your featured selections on your CD. And also one selection I really like that you mixed up with the Little Sunflower with the Pusher Man, Curtis Mayfield's
Karen did
mix.
a Little Sunflower.
and you had a
Yeah.
CD honoring your mother, and some of the venues and events that you have performed at, and now you were really doing good, but since the COVID, everything's been put on the back burner. I noticed you had
Yeah.
some new keyboards, and you have
Yeah.
some books published about music,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then you
With Hal
have
Leonard.
some. You're a contributor to two magazines, Indie,
Yes.
Incognito. Okay, so that's what we got.
Yeah.
I'm just going over some of the, and you graduated from Berkeley College, and that's because
Yeah.
Berkeley has more than one music school in other states. So you went to the California one. I think they got one up east somewhere, right?
Boston, to Boston,
Boston.
Massachusetts.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So let me
hold
real
on. You
quick.
just you're a graduate student. You just
Yeah.
last year you
Yeah.
got your
Yeah. My
master's
master's.
in music
Mm-hmm.
business. Oh, okay. So that's
Yeah.
what we're going to kind of talk about. So you know what
Oh.
it's not.
So now what if people want to listen in, can they listen in today or they listen in later?
I think it's later because we're doing it, recording it, and we
Oh,
Mr. Walker moved most of the radio station to his home, so he's doing it
okay.
out his home because nobody was in that building, and we that's where we tutor kids in the learning center. See, we have the learning center there,
Oh,
and we tutor kids. And Mr. Walker does the Black Family Technology, and he also does the robotics and Lego. We have Lego competition, robotics for kids. So we do,
okay.
yeah. So all right, I'm going to introduce you.
Okay.
Okay, you ready to start? 1, 2, 3. Hello, KUAW and Kansas City listeners. This is Professor Smooth Jazz, and I have a very special guest for today in the interview, Miss Gail Denise Johnson, pianist, vocalist, music director, composer, educator, also known as the First Lady of Smooth Jazz. How are you doing today? And say hello to the audience.
Hey, hello. I'm doing wonderful. So nice for you to have me, Ricky Colston. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you taking the time to talk to the audience so they'll also know. I know they hear, if you listen to my show, you will hear Jazz in Pink. And if you wonder who Jazz in Pink is Gail Johnson. But
Love
Gail,
your audience. They know their music, and so this wonderful show you have here.
yes. And so we also have some good news. You just graduated, master's, what, student in business music?
Yeah, yeah, music business. I graduated from Southern New Hampshire University in conjunction with Berklee College of Music. So I have my master's degree in music business. So while I've been concentrating on being a musician and a performer and band leader and all that stuff, I felt I could learn some more about the business, and I really did learn a lot. And half of my curriculum was math, because I come to realize that finance is the language of business, and so I had to learn all about derivatives and you know interest, compounded interest, and all the stuff about money and banking and forecasting and budgeting and itemizing and all that stuff. You're like, what's that got to do with business? It's got everything to do with, if you want to count your royalties and collect your money and invest and all those kinds of things. Those It's important.
Make sure you know where your money's going also.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
So
And
so
how to
you
make it,
read.
you know. We always talk about mail money, so we don't always have to go out and gig for it.
Yeah. So you also went to Berklee College of Music.
Yes, yes. I got my bachelor's there for music composition. And so I'm really good at writing and arranging and music directing. And that, training helped me with that skill set a lot. And I'm a player too. There's a lot of other really bad players out there. So, everybody's got their lane to be in. So I play, I write my songs and I play, good enough to play my stuff. And, but I really feel like I shine in the other areas.
Yes, and so you you were from Philly. That's where you were
Yeah.
born, Philly, and you loaded up
Yeah.
the. I was reading on one of your CDs. You put your keyboard and headed
Yeah. I
out to
strapped my,
California, huh? So that's where all
yeah.
the stars go.
Yeah, I flew to California with my one suitcase and my keyboard, and I had an audition with Morris Day, and Kurt Biscara was on drums, and who was on the other keyboard with Boney James.
Oh, okay.
So Boney James played sax on Gigolos Get Lonely Too. Morris would do a set, but I came out and I auditioned with Morris Day, and man, I'm telling you, that was fabulous. I had on $800 worth of clothes every night, clothes and jewelry. Oh, it was really really something. And Prince came to the show, of course, the Jacksons, Janet, all them. So all of these celebrities and everything. And I thought I would get nervous, because they're standing right or sitting right behind me somewhere, and I was just playing on. I'm like, okay, Morris, I'm right with you. And it was good. It was a lot of fun days.
So what other R&B musicians have
Pardon
you?
me?
What other R&B musicians have you played with? I know you
Oh,
played with
oh,
Morris.
oh, my next big artist that I played with was Jermaine Jackson. So I got to meet the family and go to the house and, meet everyone. Latoya, I worked with her in the studio. And I went on tour with Jermaine. And then shortly after that, of course, I was auditioning for everybody like Tina Marie and Jeffrey Osborne and stuff. I even auditioned for Michael Jackson. And but I ended up, my next gig was with Bobby Womack, and he took me to Europe, and I got my first American Express card, and I surely had to use it because he left me in Belgium, and I and I had to get to Clichy, France, and so I had to spend all of my money back then. It wasn't euros or anything. Every country had separate money, so francs and
Okay.
Deutsches and all this stuff. And so I had collected all this money and I needed all of it to get where I was going. Yeah, so I worked with so many people though after that. Seemed like I had a whole litany of guitar players, Ray Parker Jr. and um, Paul Jackson Jr.,
Mhm.
Jonathan Butler.
Okay.
Of course, I worked with Joel Albright, Patty Austin, Brenda Russell, on and on and on. Jeff Lorber, Paul Taylor, Marion Meadows, bunch of folks.
Okay. So now we here in Kansas City, we know Norman Brown, guitar player
Yes,
across the river.
yes, of
So
course.
so you were also a music director for.
Yes, yes. I was on tour with Milli Vanilli with
Oh, okay.
50,000 screaming 15-year-olds every day. So that was madness. And I was like, oh, Lord, if you can just get me a small jazz band. And I was working on a TV show here in Los Angeles. And the keyboard player that I was working with, he needed a sub for his gig with Norman Brown. So he asked me to go down and sub. I had no rehearsal. So I went down to South Toledo South and brought my keyboard down there, and he handed me a whole stack of music, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" And then they just started counting off. Lan Richards was on drums. I forget who else was in the band, and they started counting off these tunes, and I was like, I'm with you. I had to read everything down. But I'm telling you, it was so much fun and so exciting. And he was just a star. I remember his gold watch and that gold shirt that he had on. And
Oh,
he just was so sweet. And after that, he called me up the next week. He was like, can you go on tour with me? And that was in fact, that day he had signed his deal with Mojazz. So, soon we were on tour. We went to Europe and we had a really, really great time. And I've been with him over 20 years now. we watched each other's kids grow up, buy cars, buy houses, and all that stuff. But yep, he made me his music director, and I've enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that when they had the Jazz in the Woods, and I saw you there. I didn't know you were coming
Yeah.
with Norman Brown. Well, all the Norman Brown's relatives and family knew you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, yes. The family, I love the family. I'm a part of the family for sure. All his kids are like my little nieces and nephews and all that. So, mm-hmm.
Now, you started out kind of like a solo before you went with the Jazz in Pink,
Well,
right?
no, I started out as a teenager playing with my cousin's band, Natural Experience.
Hmm.
And we were playing all the clubs and all this stuff. And I really started wanting to get serious about it. That's when I went on to Berkeley School of Music so I could learn more about what I was playing because I had learned classical music in my beginnings, but uh, after that, we started playing by ear, learning, Earth, Wind, and Fire songs and Sly and the Family Stone songs, kind of. And but I wanted to know what I was playing, and so that's why I wanted to go to school. But that's how I started. I started with a band, and and then after that, some ensemble or another, doing jazz stuff and making $50 a night, and it's like, oh, this ain't gonna cut it. It's like nobody wanted to hear Night and Day and Anthropology. It was like, well, how do I get to this next level? And then when Grover Washington broke out with Mr. Magic, it was like, okay, it's all over. Okay, I got some direction. I got some inspiration on where to go now. So I think he really opened the door for a new path for all of us. Him and Ronnie Laws, but always there. And,
Hmm.
so Dexter Wansell, of course, from Philly.
Yes.
And yeah, and Lonnie Liston Smith,
Hmm.
expansions. And that stuff was like, oh, yeah, how do you take a groove and put it with these jazz chords and put a backbeat on it? Oh my, you're just so exciting. And so I could stretch as an artist and I could also enjoy the groove. So, yeah, and then smooth jazz come down way down the road, with the before it was Quiet Storm,
Yeah.
it turned out to I think adult contemporary, but that was the musical path that I followed.
I think that expansions. My favorite one is Moments in Time. Yeah, by
Yeah,
Lonnie Smith. Now, the first CD I had of yours was it Pearls?
yeah,
Was it
okay.
Pearls?
No, but
Okay,
my was
that
actually
wasn't the
it's
first
about
one though.
no, yeah. My first one was It's About Time because
Hmm.
I was home pregnant with my daughter.
Hmm.
And I said, okay, I'm going to start writing some songs for different artists that were already out there. And so I was submitting songs to people and, it was already on the scene. And it was like, nobody was liking none of them stuff. I was like, this stuff is good. I'm going to keep it for myself. And so finally I made a CD called It's About Time because the family was like, it's about time you do something for yourself. But Keep the Music Playing was really the one that really put me on the map. And Lena Ringstad gave me my new name, Gail Johnson, Johnsson. So that became a conversation piece, but it also really just set me apart and put me in the mix. And I released a single by the Winans called Heaven. And everybody just loved my rendition of that. And and Just for Kicks, I don't know if you played that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I played
two,
that.
yeah, and the tune I
And it
wrote
was
called
one
Soul.
just yeah, it was one just it was basically keyboards, which sound like a piano rather than electrical keyboard. I can't remember the name of the song, but looked like you had bass and some drums, but it didn't have guitar. I can't
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah. Now,
it didn't have guitar, just kind of trio. Well, with my tracks, I try not to load them up too much with production,
hmm
but I mean, we like pads and we like
hmm
oops, here we go. We like pads and strings and
hmm
synths and all that. So you know, but yeah, I mean, I can break down the trio too because I still like swinging.
yeah, okay.
I don't know
Now,
if I can sell any records swinging, but you know.
and then now I'm thinking one of the songs that I remember was American Boy that I didn't have the radio
Yeah.
show, but I still was putting out my playlist, but I was listening to
Uh-huh.
everything. An American Boy. Now, was that
Yeah.
the Jazz and Pink? That was one of the first ones with Jazz and Pink?
Yeah, yeah. We did a video too,
Okay.
featuring
Oh, no.
Jazz and Pink. Yeah, that was one of the Jazz and Pink's early songs, American Boy. I really liked that. I wanted to cover it. So many people had covered it, and it really is a throwback from Bill Withers. You know,
Mhm.
Lovely Day. You
Oh,
listen to the chords.
okay.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
Jazz and Pink is the world-renowned all-female, all-star based in Los Angeles, California. Mixed
Yeah. Yeah.
genre, primarily jazz with soul, R&B, symphonic, rock, and hip-hop
Hmm.
undertones.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good description of, based on the personnel that we had. We started out with the basic core instruments from the classical genre of piano, flute, violin, and harp. And what would that sound like with a funky rhythm section underneath? So it was the combination of these two forces that really forged the Jazz and Pink sound. And so everybody was bringing what they bring from their own experiences. And of course, our mission is really to support each other's music. And it really was about everybody bringing their own compositions, and we play them, and we play the heck out of them, and make our own arrangements, and really promulgate and push forward each individual's career. Because to me, women were just underrepresented in jazz. I've been on the road with Norman and all these other people for years, and I can count on one hand how many female artists are out there. Lots of singers, but not instrumentalists. And so Jazz and Pink sought to fill that gap and, have a platform. And so after 10 years of being together, it was 12 years now, but we had a big anniversary party on the 10-year anniversary. By that time, it was over 50 women that had crossed our stage. So it's a thing. So a lot of women be like, I want to play with Jazz and Pink, I want to play jazz. So, you know, um,
Yeah, and you helped a lot of other women artists who are in the jazz field. I know I talked to Jasmine Gent. Did
yes,
she play with
Jasmine
you?
Jen. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
interviewed her.
She's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now,
yeah, absolutely.
who were some of the first members of the Jazz and Pink when you started?
Well, Lynn Fidmont, her vocalist, Lynn
Who was
Fidmont,
that?
of course. Lynn Fidmont.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I played some of her songs. Yeah,
Yes. Oh, Songbird. She is.
yes,
She
yes.
really is. Yeah, and of course she's continued on her career, and she sang background for years for Stevie and all these Phil Collins and all these different people, but with Jazz and Pink, she was her own star. She brought her own music, um, and it was just really nice. It just her sound just fit right in with Jazz and Pink, and so we were so glad to have her. But early on, yeah, she sang with us, and of course, Karen Briggs, who was known all over for the Unwrapped series with Steve
Hidden Beach.
McKeever and that whole
Yeah,
bunch.
Hidden Beach.
Yeah, Hidden Beach. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but on the smooth jazz side, she wasn't really known that much. And then she was working with Lyle Tizer. So he's on the fusion side, but I think. I think Jazz and Pink and the smooth jazz scene really just set her up really nicely for that. Same way with Althea Renee. She was playing with Straight Ahead out of Detroit, and they were playing straight ahead music. So she broke away from that so she could have her solo career, and so she could do more R&B-ish. And she kind of, picked up where Bobby Humphrey left off, and she hasn't stopped. And I'm just so proud of her. She's just moving along. And so we've done a lot of shows together, just playing our own recordings that we produce ourselves. Because we're not just Althea, for instance, is not just a flute player. She's also a producer. She's also a writer, arranger. And so we don't get to see that side until with Jazz and Pink. I like to talk about all those things while we're on stage, you know. When with other people as a side person, you're just a guitar player in the band, or you're just a flute player in the band. But with Jazz and Pink, everybody you know, gets a chance to shine and say, hey, this is my composition. You know, I wrote this for this reason, you know, and with in collaboration with so and so, you know, so it's good. Jazz and Pink has been a good platform for women that have come together here because, you know, like our rehearsals are like potlucks. You know, we bring food. You know, with the guys, you get chips and some maybe some water. But we actually have salads or soups or you know whatever and you know we can what you got pink to wear, you know, let me borrow your lipstick.
You know,
So
I'm gonna tell you a funny story. When you were in St. Louis
mm-hmm.
and me and my cousin came, it was kind of
Uh-huh.
funny because when we first headed out, it was snowing in
Yeah.
Missouri. Well, in Kansas City, I mean, it was snowing. And then so when because we said, well, it's not sticking, so we're gonna keep rolling. And then there was a we had GPS, so we had to make a little detour because traffic was backed up. So we got back on, and so we got to St. Louis. It was cool. So while we were there, I was walking around, and so I saw you guys. Y'all were in there just fixing yourselves all up. So when we were sitting down, some of the older guys were talking about, man, what's taking them so long? I don't know, man. And so me and my cousin were cracking up. We said, they in there fixing themselves up. They making sure they're gonna be tight when they come out. Boy, they was putting on this. I look now, but I can see because the door was got cracked. So man, we were just cracking up because what's taking them so long? What they doing in there? I said, I don't know, man. We'll see if we can go get them.
we were probably we were probably waiting on Karen or Maria. I don't know.
But I saw you put
was Jeanette Harris with us then?
no, no,
Jeanette
no,
Harris?
no.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, she
okay.
was. I didn't.
She
I
was
didn't.
she's another one that's really developed really so nicely, really nice career.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, and you had mentioned that some look at women just for vocals, and I had told a
Yeah.
couple of other artists that I remember I was playing this song by Joyce Cooling, "This Girl Can Play," and in the song
Mm.
she had mentioned when she got on the stage, it was to my, "What you got a guitar for? Weren't you gonna sing?"
Right.
You know, but
Right.
the song was saying that I can sing, but I can play the guitar also.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a cultural chauvinism, and you know that's the first thing they want to know. Well, you know, are you the manager of the band? Are you the you know you the singer? You know what you're going to sing. But when you tell them you're the music director, you're like, wow, okay, oh, okay. So yeah, it's you know, it's getting better. You know, I
Mhm.
remember when my daughter was attending Berkeley and I went there to visit. I was so pleasantly surprised to see so many females, you know, young ladies walking back and forth with guitars, drumsticks, all kind of things. So it is changing and evolving, but just not fast enough. You know, we're still not making the right money, and we're still not getting all the opportunities for, you know, even like composition composers and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
the jazz and
Yeah.
pink band, I noticed that you have some unique instruments. Maria Antoinette, harp, and
Yes. Yes.
Karen came with that violin. Now there's violin players. I mean, there's a
Violin
lot of
players
violin
everywhere.
players now in smooth jazz,
Yeah.
especially the
Yeah.
flutes,
Karen
that
definitely
mentioned.
inspired people. Hmm.
Yeah. Now
Yeah,
there's a lot of
she's getting
sax play.
now.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying she inspired a lot of people, especially a lot of women, and you know they look to her. You know, she's definitely the fiddler goddess. You know, no doubt about it.
My my cousin, when he saw her, and he said, "Man, she's got it smoking." You know, because I guess they had that on the strings when she was playing.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah,
so,
she's fantastic. I mean, she entertains the audience, but she also entertains us in the band, you know. Yeah.
and another thing I always wondered, some of the heels she wears, I was like, oh, how's she? She's not gonna fall down. I mean, she's
I know all of them wear really high heels, you know.
uh-huh.
I can do a little one, but after that, but
Uh-huh.
Althea, Maria, Karen, and we got
Now,
it now. We got a new bass player, Zuri Appleby. Yeah. And
okay.
okay, y'all go with it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And
Yeah. Even
now,
Chelsea Green, she
oh
plays
yeah,
with us. She's got.
yeah, Chelsea, yeah. I play her, yeah.
Mhm.
And now my nickname for you is Gail with the pretty smile,
Oh, okay.
and
Well, thank you.
Althea's the fancy dancer. Well, that was a song by Bobby Humphrey, but she used
Okay.
to dance. My cousins
Yeah.
when he said she danced like that all the time when she's playing. I said, yeah, that's why I call her the fancy dancer.
Uh-huh. Yeah. We call her Aldiva.
Aldiva. Okay. Now,
Aldiva.
now
But in
you
a
have a
loving
new
way.
you have a new CD, Joy,
Yeah.
and you have a
Mm-hmm.
we already mentioned you have a new website. You just
Mm-hmm.
uh, got a business degree, and you were independent. Now you on a record label, and you can you
Yeah.
pronounce that record label? Because I always get it
Well,
messed up.
I had to learn how to pronounce it because they said if you don't know how to say the name, then you're not going to get signed. So it's Shaniki.
Shaniki.
And
Okay.
I believe it's an old Irish word.
Hmm.
But yeah, Shaniki is the label. And I'm so glad I joined with them. Not only do they have a fantastic roster with the best of the best on the
Yeah.
label between Pieces of a Dream and Kim Waters and Norman
Kelly,
Brown. I mean, people,
Kelly
yeah,
Minucci.
yeah.
I call him.
All these
I
people,
call.
yeah,
I call
yeah. So
Kelly.
now it's on there too.
I call
Hmm?
Kelly hot chili. Chili hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he can play
Yeah.
on the guitar.
Yeah, yeah. Kelly Manucci, yeah.
And so you
But
said,
yeah, I think it's better to be with a label because it's okay. It's okay to be independent. You can be in charge
mhm,
of your money and you can be in charge of your business. But even with the signing with the label, you still have to be in charge of your business, and you have to stay on top of things. And but it's just better to run with a pack. You know what I mean?
mhm.
That association, this business is about relationships. So I think the association is good.
For those that may be wanting to start in the business music, you know, area, what what is some of the responsibilities and obligations for when you're on a label for other than independent?
Well, the first thing I think you need to start out, I think you need to get somebody on your team, uncle, auntie, cousin, anybody that will support what you're doing to be a manager, a consultant, somebody to bounce ideas off, somebody to help you plan a path and make some short-term and some long-term goals. And I don't think many of us do that. We're just excited to play. We're excited to get to rehearsal, and we're trying to always, keep the lights on, keep that cell phone ringing. And so I think that's important. Make some goals, get a team, and seek out what's going on and what's out there. I remember when the industry was transitioning from CDs to MP3s, a lot of people were kind of resistant against that. They didn't want to have to do MP3s, but MP3s was the way to go. They just figured, well, MP3s flying across the internet, somebody's going to steal my music. But no, that was just going to be the MO of what's happening in the business. So um, I think you just have to keep current. That's what I'm saying. Stay up with the technology and what's going on. And you can seek a label. It's okay to seek a label. Seek the label and see what other artists on there. See if you fit in. See if you blend in. Maybe even take your songs and put them in a playlist. Put your song in the middle of them and see how it segues from one to the next. And be like, Yeah, I think I fit right in right here, so that a little bit of research like that is good. And of course, labels want to get you, they want to sign you up if you have a following. You got to build up your fan base. You have to build up your catalog. So write every day, as often as you can, as often as you're fed to do, and present it the best way you can. Produce it as best you can. Sometimes it's okay to just write a song with just piano and vocals, but make sure it sounds good. And you can submit that, and a label may pick you up. So, but I don't know, there's so few labels now. you know it's okay to be indie. There's a lot of opportunities for independent artists, and to do what the labels are doing. So it's 50-50, I think, right now for me.
Mhm. Yes, you also did a CD in honor of your mother.
Yeah, for you, Mom is a song that it's a funny story. That was my Her Story CD. And because I said my story begins with her story. And I wanted to thank her for the lessons and rides to rehearsal, and letting us run up her electricity when we rehearsed in the basement and all that kind of stuff. And so I gave her the CD and everything. I just laid everything. I did all the graphics. I laid everything out so good. And then, I sent it to her. And it was about a month later. She never did say that she got it or she liked it or whatever. And I said, Ma, did you get the CD? Oh, yeah, I got it. Um, did you listen to it? No. Well, why not? Why didn't you listen to it? Oh, the CD player's broken. Oh, I'm like, Mom, there's a whole dedication to you. Your picture is in it. Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. And quietly, I was so through with her, I didn't know what to do. I was like, you know what? But she just was always supportive. My sister reminded me that she bought me a little toddler piano when I was about 2 or 3 years old. And I had forgotten about that. Then I vaguely remembered. I was like, yeah, I remember that now. And so we lost her last year, and I had her to
Okay.
remind her about that. She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "How did I know to kind of guide you there?" And I said, "I don't know. None of my other sisters play.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why I took to it so much, but I loved it, and it was just a calling on my life, I think,
Mhm.
and I appreciate her for allowing me to have that gift. Other people would say, I don't have no money for the piano lessons. I'm not renting no piano, but she always found a few dollars to get it done.
Yeah. Sorry to hear about passing of your mom. Now,
Yeah.
you also have some music books published, and you contributor to two magazines. Was it Indie
Yeah.
Incognito and a
Uh-huh.
WIJSF Music Woman or something?
Yeah, Women in Jazz South Florida. Yeah, they have two magazines, Music Woman magazine and
Mhm.
Music Man magazine. And so I've been interviewing all my friends, all the ones in the industry, for those magazines. I'm a music contributor for those. And for Indie Incognito, I've been doing Zoom interviews of various artists, especially ones that have new music coming out. So I interviewed Hill Street Soul and Braxton
Oh, okay.
Brothers, and yeah, and Dwayne Smitty Smith, and
Okay.
got new artists coming out, Bobby Griffin Jr.
Mhm.
And so I've been staying busy doing that stuff. The books I wrote years ago, I used to teach at Musicians Institute here in Hollywood. It's
Mhm.
kind of the West Coast version of Berkeley. Berkeley is the East Coast jazz scene, and
Mhm.
the West Coast was more commercial music.
Oh, okay.
So while I was teaching it, I taught there about 12 years. And after that, I taught high school. And after that, I quit teaching.
Oh,
I
I see.
can't do them high schoolers.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't do But while I was at Musicians Institute, I wrote two books under Hal Leonard Publishing. And so that was really nice opportunity for me. One was Funk Keyboards, and I'm still getting royalty checks for that book. Because you know you hear all the old funk songs, but nobody knows how to play it. You just kind of interpret by ear, and of course I interpret by ear too. But I try to get as best as I could to get the formula on what to do with a clavinet, what to do with the synthesizer, what to do with the bass synth. You know how you comp in funk music, and so my keyboard hero Herschel Happiness definitely was a great. You know, influence as well as the king. We just lost him. Wow, his name just popped out of my head.
What keyboardist?
Worrell, Bernie
Oh,
Worrell.
Yeah, Bernie Worrell. Parliament,
Yes,
like that.
yes. He was the king of synth. And so I learned a lot from him. And so I included all that in my funk keyboards book. And another book I have called Dictionary of Keyboard Grooves. And that was, I took different grooves, like a Latin groove, a funk groove, a kind of ballad R&B groove, all these different things. What does the piano do? What is their part in that setting? So I laid out some examples of that, and that's been doing well. And then I wrote another one on my own because a lot of, you know, musicians they play guitar, they play trumpet, and they want to get their keyboard skill together. So my book called Jazz Keyboards teaches them about how to just make voicings and how to find families of chords and how to match them. You know, I don't know if you remember the Garanimals with the kids, but there's a way that chords match, and so I did a little system like that. So it's kind of a writing system thing to learn from, and just the chords written out graphically, so you can see the keyboard with all the notes that you're supposed. You don't have to read the staff. All you have to do is see the graphic and see the dots. These are the notes that you're going to use. So that's been really helpful. And you know, of course, with the digital ages now in PDF format,
Speaking of
and so
speaking of Bernie, he had a whole rack of keyboards lined up, and then he had like a
yeah,
double organ or something like what?
yeah,
What was it,
yeah, yeah.
double or
We
triple or something
all used
organ?
to have all that, yeah. But then it
Man,
was like, Popcorn Miller was like, okay, who's gonna set up all them keyboards? Because I wanted 3 keyboards over here and 3
mm-hmm.
over there, so I could, you know, back and forth.
Uh-huh.
It
Uh-huh.
was like, ain't nobody setting up all that stuff for you, girl. You
Yeah.
picked 2, and that's when it whittled down to keyboard players only having 2 keyboards. But I was always used to having 4 keyboards. I had my Fender Rhodes, I had my Mini Moog, I had my Prophet 5, and DX7. You know, so all those keyboards have all distinct different sounds and different functions.
Yeah.
And to now try to find one keyboard that has all those different timbres in it, you know, so we were able to get through the show now with 2 keyboards.
Yeah, and actually, when I was looking on your web, now I can't read music, can't play, can't sing, but you have. I was looking to see what you had new. You have a Yamaha motif, and you got a
Yeah.
Roland. You got a Roland
Uh-huh.
now.
I had a yeah.
Now
I
the
have a
one you,
Triton or
yeah.
Triton or something.
Now that the white one you had, you got a nickname for that one, don't you? Is that the
Which
one you
one?
have? Is that baby or something? That's your baby or something? Which one?
Oh, you talking about the guitar. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but you got a black one too now. I saw it.
yeah, black one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw
And
that one.
it's got some more sounds in it and stuff. Yeah,
Now, see, because back in the
yeah.
day, I remember like the Commodores, they had the what was it, the Horner D6
Yeah, the
clavinet
Horn DC.
and the middies and
Oh,
yeah, and
and there's no other keyboard that play like it. The way they did the keys, the way they pressed down, what you're playing with that keyboard, there's no other keyboard that matches the touch and feel of that D6 clavinet.
but that was made in
Period.
19, when that like 1972 or somewhere like
Maybe something like
it was
that,
something.
but
Yeah, it
every
was. I remember the Commodores
yeah,
had one, and a lot of the
yeah. You had to have it because the feel of it is just. I got a buddy, Christopher Troy. Do you know him, keyboardist? In fact, he works with Morris Day now.
oh, okay.
He used to play with Tony. He wrote and mixed or something for Tony, and all those
Mhm.
Bay Area guys, you know. And but he has all the keyboards. He got the Wurlitzer. electric, he's got the, he don't have the CP70 though, but he's got the Wurlitzer, he's got the DX7, he's got the Motif, he's got a Hammond B3,
Oh, okay, I remember.
Yeah. So
now
he's kind
Herbie,
of a keyboard.
Herbie
Yes,
Hancock had plenty of keyboards. He had Oberheimer, all that stuff,
that's,
man. Yeah.
have all this stuff.
Yeah. So
Him and Stevie's got everything. The Disclavier, the Fairlight. Woof.
Yeah. So, well, I enjoy having a conversation with you. I haven't seen anybody in such a long time because of the COVID and a lot of your events. So how you doing? A lot of your events have been canceled because, man, you were playing.
Yeah, everything canceled. We have been completely unemployed since January of 2020. We have been unemployed. We had a couple of virtual gigs. We've done some things where we sponsor. We did the toy drive. I have a toy for my son every year. This was our second annual one, Jazz and Pink's toy drive for Aaron. And and we still didn't perform then. We played some of the music from the new record, but yeah, we've been unemployed except doing a few virtual things. So we got something coming up, Black History Month with the Palm Springs Women in Jazz. That's coming up soon. And we've got another thing coming up for Women's History Month with this March. So we're getting ready to do an event for that and all this virtual stuff and trying to get together and trying to technically match the audio with the video and the sound. And it's more than an ocean.
And that's another.
So we're going to have to hold on until it's time,
Yeah. And that's another thing. Even when I had my smooth jazz list, I always had March for women's history, and I list all the women jazz artists, new jazz artists, and I've been. It's been so much music out.
Oh gosh, yeah,
so many
everybody's
different
creative
artists, and so I think last year, instead of having every show for the 4 months of women who happen to be jazz artists, I had to kind of keep from getting behind. I had to dedicate an hour. I dedicate an hour. So I'm still hoping I still get to dedicate an hour for this March. But now I just don't wait till March to play women who happen to be jazz artists as elections.
Yes, I know. You're supporting us all year long. And like I said before, we really, really appreciate it. We need it. And we need people that just support good music, period. So I mean, if you close your eyes, you don't know if it's a man or a woman. It's just some good stuff, and so we appreciate it.
But I always want to make sure, because I don't want anybody leaving the smooth jazz gonnery, because nobody will play their music because they're women. So we need the young people to continue if we want to have smooth jazz.
We definitely need the young people to come along and continue. That's why I bring my daughter, I bring my goddaughter along. I'm very much about diversity, bringing the young people along. And I mean, they come in and they're singing Kyoto, Hiatus Kyoto, or whatever they're singing. And they're singing Jill Scott. I mean, they're singing all this other stuff. And it's like really, really good. And so, yeah.
So I think there was a couple of young ladies. I sent you their emails. Well, I know one was really excited. She's talking about, well, when can I start? I think that was Brittany. Did you get the emails with Brittany?
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't get it. Oh, was it Brianna? Was it
Brittany? It was Brittany Atterbury. Okay. Ashley Keiko.
Okay, I'm going to definitely.
McKinley.
Okay.
Kimberly McKinney and Jay Cinnamon. I didn't have her information, but this is the first time I've spun something. But she's a keyboardist and vocalist too.
Oh yes.
I think.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm so excited to meet these new people coming along because they're bringing something fresh and they're hot and they're excited and they were like me when I was younger, just hungry, just ready to go. What, where I play, what do
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to definitely get on it. I've been busy producing. I have several artists that's out there now, so I love that part as well. And video editing, that's a new little challenge.
Mhm.
I'm not so excited about that because it's so tedious, but I really do like producing. I got a new artist coming, Bobby Griffin Jr. He's out. Of course, Tony Saunders is on the charts.
Oh,
He
Tony
playing his
Saunders,
music.
yeah.
That's something,
Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah, he just emailed me because he's got After George, the dedication to George
Yeah,
Duke with the Dookie stick.
yeah,
That's the first time I've seen those keyboards, like the guitars with
yeah,
George Duke.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, everybody's writing new music. We're all stuck home, and you know, it's all good. We're making the best of it. Keeping people happy with music any way we can get it out there. So, stations like yours, WUAW, KUAW, uh, broadcasting across the world
Mhm.
helps keep those royalty checks coming. So,
Okay,
keep it
well,
rolling.
we like to thank you for taking time and to interview with Professor Smooth Jazz and Mr. Walker
Yeah,
over the KUAW radio station and Black Tech Family
yeah,
Technology,
hmm
all the
yeah.
other things. Oh, he also helps me. I said, Mr. Walker, what happens if I do this? I don't know. Push it and find out.
Right,
So I always
right.
have a lot of questions for him, and he's been very helpful.
Yeah.
And because
Mm.
now I was telling this guy, he thinking about being a DJ. I said, it's different. You got to have technology to do a radio show. I mean, I can't do a
Yes.
radio show without a computer, a laptop.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. My radio show is called The Pink Room, and it's on solarradio.com. And so definitely, I'm broadcasting all the way in the UK. And, sometimes, I can't even string back what I put out there.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of an issue, but it's like we're going to get past this. Perseverance just went to Mars, probably again. So if they can do that, they can straighten out this bandwidth situation, huh?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna make sure that we stay in contact since Mr. Walker has a
Yes.
radio station and you got a radio station because we supposed to interview one of your buddies,
Oh,
Kim here
yeah.
in Monday. I,
Okay.
I interviewed Reagan. I got to talk to Reagan
Uh,
Whiteside. Yeah, I got to talk to Reagan.
uh-huh. Oh,
Yeah,
man. She is fantastic, isn't
yeah,
she?
yeah.
Yeah.
So uh, thanks again. And the sun did come
Yes.
out today here in Kansas City, but it's 32 degrees. It feels like a heat wave compared.
Oh,
So you
goodness.
had to.
Well, in Southern California, we're 74 today.
Yeah,
So
I know you don't have to tell me
sorry.
that. But how's Althea? Althea's in Houston, isn't she?
I
Is
think
she?
it's okay. I checked on her
You
yesterday.
checked on her?
Yeah, she said, yeah, Rocky was just seeing snow for the first time, but they're okay. They're bundled up together, and but they're all right, and they're looking for some warmer weather this weekend.
Yeah. So tell her I didn't want to. Since all this situation going on, I'll catch up with her after it starts getting warmer because I'd like to interview the fancy dancer. I can't forget about you guys were the first ones I got to
Absolutely.
communicate over the internet. Some of the first ones
Yeah.
that were open to, but most of the jazz musicians are very open and helpful. Sign all my CDs, all the CDs I had laid out. You should have seen Kim Waters, boy. He got tired. I said, that's your fault. You
Ooh.
shouldn't have made all those CDs. Smooth Jazz does this, Smooth Jazz does that,
And
Streetwise.
I went to his studio to record Joy Joy, and I'm telling you that Kim Waters ain't no joke. I had a newfound respect for Kim Waters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
fantastic, sweetheart too, and his daughter Kayla. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, you have a nice
Okay,
day. And I know you're staying busy
thank
because I heard
you.
your phone just going off and on. Okay. Tell
Yeah,
your
you
daughter
heard
I
it
said,
going. I kept.
yeah, tell your daughter I said
I'm sorry.
hi. And I'm so glad that
Yeah.
she finished school and everything like that.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay, well,
Hmm.
I will talk to you. I'll make sure I stay in touch with the
Okay,
radio station, and
okay.
I'll relay that Mr. Walker's listening. So we'll relay that and see how we can work something out.
Mr. Walker. Okay. All right.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Have a
Well,
good week.
thank you.
Okay.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.